Why were farmers in the northern regions initially allowed to start harvesting timber without an environmental clearance certificate?
I would say, in the first place, that that was not supposed to happen. We understand that they were somehow misled because, according to the procedures, they are supposed to apply for an environmental clearance certificate, which didn't happen. And when that reached our office, we decided to stop that process. Because you cannot undertake a listed activity without an environmental clearance certificate, and forestry clearance is one of the listed activities in our Environmental Management Act, which means we stopped that process and we advised them that they need to apply for an environmental clearance certificate. And in our regulations, actually, regulation number 4 of the Environmental Impact Assessment Regulations, forestry cannot be undertaken without, actually the harvesting of forestry without environmental clearance certificate. And that's what we have done.
Now, the community out there seems to be confused about the role of your office and the role of the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Forestry in timber harvesting. Who is actually responsible for issuing permits to harvest timber, and what is the procedure to be followed?
Our role is very clear. Our role is to issue environmental clearance certificates. And the role of the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Forestry is to issue permits. But there is a procedure. In terms of our Act, Section 31, you cannot actually undertake such an activity which is listed before you apply for environmental clearance certificate. Therefore, the procedure is you apply for an environmental clearance certificate. Once an environmental clearance certificate is issued, that's when you proceed and apply for a permit.
So that is through the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Forestry, the permit?
That is correct. So far, that process was not followed, and that's why we stopped that process from proceeding.
Timber harvesting and sand mining projects only seem to benefit few individuals at the expense of the country's communities. How can this situation be corrected?
We observed that. We realized that there are a lot of misunderstandings in that area, because those who are powerful in villages, they would collect sand and sell sand. They would collect forestry resources like timber and sell at the expense of the communities. That is not supposed to happen, because a community resource should benefit each member of the community. We have realized that because it is also in conflict with our Act, especially Section 3 of our Environmental Management Act, number 7 of 2007. When you read that section, subsection 2, you will find that there are limitations. You cannot consume a resource, which is a community resource alone, a heritage resource like sand. Nobody planted the sand. It's for everybody. But some powerful people are able to push others aside and they eat alone. That's where the problem is. So to correct that situation, we are saying, for us, we will issue clearance certificates. And then when we have issued the clearance certificate, we will attach conditions to say you can't eat alone. At least 50% share with your members of within the community. And if that is violated, we will stop the process. That's where we are now.